Alright, hey everyone. So, I have a message about one thing, but I feel like my energy is coming a different way. So, whatever happens, happens. Give me a minute. I'm gonna just talk about what happened, and then maybe whatever. Put it like this: before I got the letter that I'm about to talk about, my energy said to do a video. Not sure what that video is supposed to be about, so it might be a 2-part video, okay? However it goes, however it go. But this is what's going on, so I always, let y'all know what's going on and different things. So let me turn this off. How do you know when you're being tested before a blessing? How do you know? How will you know? Do y'all feel like y'all know that you're being tested before a blessing? So, I'm going to tell you what has happened to me and then go from there. So, when I moved here, where I'm at my mother's house, probably a year after I moved in, the Section 8 listing popped up. I found out when the listing was, got my name on the list. Probably like 6 months after I was approved, okay? Well, I was approved. My name was on the list. I was like number 23. It was 23 or 34, something like that. And I was on the list. And probably like 6 months later, they finally got to my name. So I went through the process and everything. By the end of it, I had the amount my voucher would have been was like seven something. Like seven something. Okay. So I would have been able to at least get a 2-bedroom, all right, where I stay at. So at the time when I got the voucher, because I'm new to it, I never been on Section 8 before, don't know nothing about it, okay? So I thought whenever they give you the voucher, they already have a place that you can go to. That's what I thought. That's how I thought the process worked. But I found out that you have to do your own research. You got to find your own place and stuff like that. And the voucher only lasts for so long. Now, in this process, I did ask a couple of questions. I said, hey, can I transfer this voucher to another place? I heard that some places have where you can use a voucher as a stipend to go towards buying a house and stuff like that. Those type of programs. So where I'm at, they said, no, we don't do none of those. In order to transfer it, it was like you have to keep it for a year, and then you can transfer it over if you are eligible in that area. I said, okay, cool. So they gave me a list of places in the area and those names, and then I did my research and found some others. And then I asked my mother at the time about any other people she know. So just about every other week or every couple of weeks, I'll call around, say, hey, do you have anything available? This, and that. Oh, no, we don't have nothing. We don't have this. We don't have that. It's like no one had anything. But this is the kicker. So in my mind, I'm at one questioning right now is this. In that time period, how did all these other people find houses that there was no houses available? If there was no apartments available? And when I called the places that had waiting lists, they had people waiting for like 6 months. So all these people that's in the county that I'm in, where did they go at? Where did they go? How they find a place? Or did they lose their vouchers? Okay, this is my reality talking. Where they go at? Because I called for months. So this is how I know, like all of this is tied to what's going on with me. So then I found a place. Eventually I found a place. And I talked to a landlord and I was like, hey, I saw the place for rent. I saw this place. I said, is it for rent? The guy's like, yeah, it's for rent. So I said, when will it be available? He was like, probably in like 2 or 3 weeks. I said, okay, cool. I said, I ain't said cool, but I said, okay, yes, sir. I said, it's okay. I said, it's okay. I'll call you back to double check. He's like, yeah. But what's so crazy is every time I call back, every couple of weeks, I'll call back. It was like another excuse after another excuse. Then he was like, okay, contact this other person. I contacted this other person, which the number was out of state. See, I'm in a small town. That was already weird to me. But hey, I went along with the go get along. Called a number out of state. person wouldn't even answer the phone. Cool. I called a couple people. I called the governor, the mayor. Is it the mayor? It was the mayor of the city, of the city or whatever. I called her because she has her own rental place. I called her. She didn't call me back. I texted her, and I think she finally texted me. I've texted a lot of people, so either I called them, they didn't respond, so then I'll text them and say, hey, excuse me, I see that this apartment is available, and this and that. But then this was the kicker. Then it was this another lady I finally got in contact with, and I asked about this place, and I told her, I said, hey, I have a stipend. I was Section 8. I asked her, I said, how much is this 2-bedroom apartment? She said about $600. I said, okay, I have enough for that. Then she gonna say, well, how much is your stipend? And I'm gonna be honest. I told her, oh, it's about this. Well, because you got a stipend, I'm gonna charge you more. You're gonna charge me more because you know that I have it. Yeah, we're gonna have to charge you more. Okay, cool. But this is the kicker. My mother was like, you don't want that place down there because that's a bad area. So this place ain't that. It's a bunch of fake criminals or fake people. It ain't that serious. But she was like, don't go down that street. It's a bad neighborhood. Okay. That was the only place that was available. She told me don't get it. Okay, cool. So I got to the point, I said, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my name on a list where my kids are at, my oldest two, because I really want to get back to them. So I found a place where they are at, not too far from where they live. Nice area and everything. And they have a waiting list. So I said, well, if I put my name on the waiting list, by the time the waiting list comes available for me to get to my spot, to, number one spot, it should be a year from now. So I said, let me go ahead and think ahead. Put my name on the list. But what happened was, I had to fill out this paperwork. And I talked about this briefly in another video, but I was like, had a little accent. Y'all probably wouldn't know what the heck I was talking about, so I'm clarifying things now. So I put my name, I went, got the paperwork, filled it out, told them I had a stipend, told them the little change I was getting and everything. And so they was like, okay, we're gonna check your information. We're gonna check your information. I said, okay, cool. She checked my information, comes back, and she said, we can't put your name on the list. Cause at the time, for the 2-bedroom and it was like number 23. I don't know, 23 is the number. Okay, number 23 is on the list. Because before I asked her, I said, how long does it normally take somebody to get off the list? She said about a year. She said, cause we have people that have been here for about 20 years. And she said it takes about a year before somebody actually get a place. I'm number 23, right? Number 23. So I sit back and I said, cool, all right. Well, that's fine, because by the time my name get to where I need to be at, it'll be time enough, my stipend will be ready to transfer. She said, okay. I fill out the paperwork, come back. She's saying, we can't put your name on the list because you got to be pre-qualified. I said, well, why I can't get my name on the list? She said, because it's showing that you got a eviction on your credit report. I said, eviction? How I have eviction? Now, mind you, before I got ill, before they sent me to the psych ward stuff, I lost my place. I lost a place. Now, let me let y'all understand this. I lived in that place for 7 years. 7 years. And never, ever was late on my rent for 7 years. Never late, not once. I've always paid on time. There was times I paid double the month, and they was like, you already paid. Oh, my bad. Put it to the next month. Yes, 7 years and never was late. I got sick. I lost my ability to walk. Couldn't do nothing. Okay? I didn't have no money. I couldn't work or nothing. Okay? I did everything that I could. I got some type of assistance by different people, but only lasted me for so long. And then, what happened? We was kicked out. Okay? However, this is what happened. Because I didn't have family that I can run to and say, hey, can you help me store my items and this and that? Can you take this and that? I had to leave me and my kids' items in that house. I sold what I could sell, which was a 55-inch TV, their game systems and all of that, which it hurt me to the core because I had to sell their stuff. But it got so close to time that I even left a 55-inch TV in the house, and it was still good quality. But I didn't have no one to take me anywhere to do anything or whatever. So, and I had a what is it called? I had one of those hospital beds in there too, and those things cost about $3,000 by themselves. So, all I know is this: when I left out, we had a lot of stuff in there. Now, when they left, you gotta pay a bill. They got a bill, so they told me it was probably like $1,000 to clean the house up after the fact. Plus, I owed at the time about $4,000. Okay, that's how much it accumulated all together with the stuff. However, because of all the items I had left, the value of everything I left in the house, they sent me a letter and told me I don't owe nothing. Thank God, because that would have screwed me over. It would screwed me up. But by the grace of God, I have an email that they stated I don't owe them. Okay, I don't owe them. I don't have to pay them that money. So that means there was no eviction on my record. Now that ain't the only time I had eviction. I had eviction some years ago, probably like 10, 15 years ago, when I was living in Virginia. I had eviction. However, I left the place when I was evicted. I left the place and I moved back to the place and I paid them double the amount. Yeah, because nobody else was accepting eviction notice. But because of me talking to the lady and she knew that I was a good person or whatever, and she knew that I had kids and I would do everything, I wasn't a complainer like a lot of tenants and stuff. So I had to pay double the amount. I had to pay the amount back that I owed, and then I had to pay double the deposits and everything. So I didn't have eviction back on my notice. They took it off. So I don't have no evictions. My debts are paid when it comes to the housing. I didn't do my due diligence. So when it comes back to this moment at this place where I got trying to put my name on the list, she said, okay, you're going to have to call these people. I said, who I have to call? The credit bureaus. I call the credit bureaus, but this is the kicker, y'all. This is how these people really messing with me. When I call the credit bureaus, they think I'm stupid. And I listen and I pay attention. These secret societies and folks, they tap my phone. So when I call them, I can tell that it's a fake company that's answering my call, because the transition, it's like, yes, somebody foreign talking, but it's a setup. When they go through my account and information, my spirit, before I even knew who I really was, I was like, y'all setting me up. Oh, ain't nothing on your credit and this and that. Got you, understand. But I know it wasn't the actual bureau. I know it's fake. It was fake people. I called all the bureaus and they said there's nothing on my credit that shows that any eviction. Cool. So I go back to this lady and I call her back. I say, hey, her name, I ain't gonna say that, but I said, hey, excuse me, ma'am. I said, I contacted the bureaus and they said there's no eviction on my account. So what's the problem? Why I can't get on the list? I said, is there someone else I can talk to? Is there someone higher up? Oh, no, we go through a third party. Because we go through this third party, that's how you have to do it. That's the only way. So if they can't, find out what it is, your name can't be on the list. Okay, thank you anyway. Have a blessed day. Thank you anyway. So my name is not on this list. I have to walk away from it. This is the only place. All the other lists, other places, I didn't feel good about. So come back to where I'm at, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go through this process. Call around, still nothing. My voucher ended up being expired in December of last year. December. I couldn't even use the voucher. But then at the same time, a part of me was like, if I use it, I'm gonna put myself in debt. Because even though the little change I have, I would be penny pinching, and that will put me into a deficit. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So that's why I stayed, right? Lo and behold, now that was December. My voucher was expired. Now, I talked to this lady, I think in like probably November. Okay, November. So what month is this? 5, 6, 7, 7 months. 7 months, okay? 7 months. And this lady told me it takes a year just for one person to get off to change over the list. She said it's been taking them a long time. Okay. Why do I get a call about, excuse me ma'am, a voicemail, but this is the thing. I got a letter from them saying that your name is still on the list and we want to know if you still want to keep your spot. Hold up. How my name is on the list? You told me that I wasn't pre-qualified because I didn't get through pre-qualification. How my number went from 23 to 8. So if I calculated right, when I use my calculator, that's what, 15. Okay? So you tell me 15 people moved out within 7 months. 15 people moved out within 7 months, and you said that y'all always have this tight motion where nobody will move out. How does 15 people move out? See, this is the stuff I be talking about, how these elites and stuff be trying to play with me. They try to play with my emotions. And I feel like people thinking I'm Boo Boo the Fool. I know I said got the Cartoon Network, but I ain't the tune of your cartoon, or your network. So it's like, this is the thing, y'all. And what I'm trying to get is this. You have to know when to hold them, when to fold them. See, if I fill this information out and send it off, I lose out on everything that I'm prayed for. I am so much into my fate now. Like, I was on food stamps, and I'm supposed to re-sign my paperwork for food stamps. I didn't. Now, I get a little bit of change, and I'm thankful for that, what I do receive. And my son is very taken care of. And the other two, they with their dad, they taken care of as well. But see, this is the thing in the life. Y'all got to be careful with that enemy. See, that enemy, when you getting close to your heaven gates, when you getting close to your overflow, and try to mess with you, to see, like, dangle something in your face and say, hey, you ready to give up now? Because in my situation, it's like, your kids, do you want to get to your kids? This is the only way you're going to do it. If you don't sign it, then that means you forfeiting. I forfeit. Because I believe in the bigger power. I believe in the bigger blessing. And if I got to wait another day to get there, I'm going to do it. I waited this long. And my kids are definitely taken care of. I may not like the situation that they in. But at the end of the day, as long as they got a roof over their head, they got food, they're going to school, they're doing as long as they got the basics. As long as they got the basics, hey, that's all that matters right now. No different than my son here. As long as he got the basics. But I'm not about to trade this in to lose the majors. Okay? So, this is the thing, y'all. A lot of y'all go in this life where you got to pay attention to the details. You got to pay attention to when things look like a blessing, but it's a destruction. You got to pay attention. Remember the task. Remember the steps that you're taking. See, if I didn't remember the conversation that I had with that lady, I would have been head over heels like, oh my God, it's an opportunity, and let me go sign the paperwork so I can move on out because of my current situation. Well, I'm like this. My current situation may not be the best, but it's a sacrifice that I'm taking on to get to the main part, to the caviar, to the good life, to the best. I'm not going to keep accepting just something just to get by, something better than nothing attitude. I'm not going to keep doing it. I'm not going to keep allowing myself to just get the basics the rest of my life. I can't live like that. You understand? In this journey, I literally put my faith and all into the Most High, which is the spirit that's within me. And I chose to take the long road. I didn't use shortcuts. I learned about them, but I didn't use them. I learned about how you can maneuver around shortcuts by taking all the tests. See, this is the thing. People want to take the shortcuts at the beginning, and then by the time they get to the end, they worn out. And then they worn out because now they got to put the real work in. I decided to put the real work in at the beginning. I decided to put my all in at the beginning. I decided to keep the faith even when I couldn't see what faith was. Do y'all know that I I couldn't even see what fate was. I didn't know how to spell what fate. Okay, I can spell fate, but what I'm trying to say, I can't even get the word out because it won't allow me. But what I'm trying to say is there have been so many times that I wanted to throw the towel in because I couldn't see a way. There was so many times that I felt like my eyes was gouged out. There were so many times that I wanted to take my life out because I didn't have nothing around me to motivate me. I didn't have nothing around me to say you were doing a good job. I didn't have nothing around me to tell me that you will be amazing. I didn't have nothing around me that said that you're going to get to the end game. I didn't have that. But every single time I sat back and thought about, you know what, I don't want to live here anymore. I allow myself to accept the thought, think about the thought, and question the point as, all right, if I take myself out, then what? Then I got to start all over again at the beginning? No, I'm not about to do it. See, that's the problem. We forget that once we take ourselves out, we got to go back to the beginning of the line. I know I'm to the end of the line. No, I waited that line long enough. And the crazy thing is, I'm not even in the line y'all in. Y'all in the fame line. Y'all in the success line of money, power, respect. I'm in the line of love. I'm the only one in that line. And I've been sitting back waiting for my turn. Every time when they come up and they call out the numbers, money, power, respect is what get called every single time. I've been sitting in that line of love by myself for a very long time. And for the first time in my life, I finally see my number about to be called. And y'all telling me I'm about to risk it for this? Y'all have lost y'all last nerve. On that note, y'all have a blessed day.